Okay, I'm almost way over. Hello everyone. I'm here to give you a very important message. Um, I'm going to try and talk about as best I can the differences between reality and fiction, and that they should never mix in the real world. Um, Fiction's got to stay fiction because, like, yes, it is not real. Sure, people can um have favorites and headcanons about certain characters of their favorite shows or animes. They they can keep it in their heads and they don't spill out to the real world and start hurting people. But what Denox is doing, he is he is bridging no, not bridging. He's basically breaking the literal like caution tape of what you should not do when mixing fiction and reality because he is pushing his fantasies not just within online spaces and on his own community, but also onto actual real people. And he is hurting these people, and whether he knows it or not is not okay. And it hurts me. It more or less infuriates me to even know that this kind of stuff exists and that I see on the news people getting arrested for this kind of shit. And um I wanted to let everyone be aware of the type of people that are in the community, especially in the VTubing space. Because in the VTubing space, it can get so horrendous that it goes on to borderline like the person gets so delusional thinking they're in a fantasy world and it affects the real world in so many different ways and not good ways. Um so like um let's just say let's I'll do like two instances within the gaming sphere and also with the anime sphere. Um with VR chat, yes, there's a bunch of these guys thinking that they live in a fantasy in which they don't. Um, let's say, um, let's say I'm gonna use myself as an example. I was using a, let's say, Zuka Midoriya model from My Hero Academia. To me, the character is not real, but the person behind the model moving and talking is real. It's a human being. And also with the anime sphere, yes, I like a lot of characters within the anime space. Like, I know I'm gonna probably get some heat for this. I'll use Toji Fushiguro for example. I like Toji Fushiguro. He's one of my favorite characters in JJK. But there's a difference. I don't spew my head canon all over to other people. I don't push on my, I guess, quote, fantasies onto other people and it hurts them. Denox is doing just that. He is taking anime girls, literal, not literal anime girls, fictional anime girls that are between probably 13 to 16 or 17 years of age, that are middle schooler and high schoolers, and he's breaking the theoretical caution tape that should not be crossed and moving it into the real world. That is what Denox is doing. He is affecting actual children, actual minors. And it's not okay. It should not be tolerated. And it makes me mad that people are defending him. They're defending his behavior. They're defending behaviors that are borderline disturbing and outright disgusting. And it doesn't make sense, but reality will hit you harder than probably any scene in anime. So that's how I see it. But I want to try and give um my own personal take on having people like having fictional like crushes and romances and stuff like that, and leaving it in their headcanon, minusing it, bringing it into the real world, and causing harm. And again, that is what Denox is doing. He is crossing the fictional threshold of keeping it fictional and crossing it and hurting people. He is hurting actual children. He is trying to sexualize minors, whether it be in the fictional world or in real life. He is doing just that. And on top of that, he is hurting a lot more people currently because he is still doing what he is doing. And almost anybody would defend him. His little supporters are defending him. And on top of that, and what is also disturbingly enough, he is using alt and bot accounts to sub to his channel. Because the 1.57 subs that he has is not natural. It is botted. And probably at least about less than 3% are actual people. Most of them are either just bots or alt accounts. So I wanted to add a little thing in there, just a little poke in that little bubble of his. Because whether he knows what he's doing is wrong and he's just blatantly being arrogant, it's like the saying goes, ignorance is bliss. But it turned it into the worst possible thing that anybody could ever imagine, and he is using that literal like fiction that literal fictional bubble, not literal but like you know what I mean, bubble, and just dragging it with him to hurting actual people. It is going as far as making a chapter in his book to justify his actions, to justify him hurting minors and wanting to talk sexually to them, pushing his online fantasies onto them, whereas the minors in question are still growing. They still need time to process the stuff that is happening to them. And what Denox is doing is he is manipulating these people. He's manipulating these children because all of his, quote, content, I'm saying this lightly because it's kind of garbage, is he is using one of probably the most kid-friendly, like, I guess, group, Nintendo, basically Nintendo, and he is using whatever interest that they have, and he is trying to manipulate them. He's trying to manipulate them by talking about how, oh, like, I used to play, like, this Nintendo game, or this Nintendo game, or all of this, but never stopped to think that what he is doing is wrong. And there's a lot of people who will do this, who will mix reality and fiction, but it doesn't work. Reality and fiction is like water and oil. It doesn't mix. The oil separates the water, and the water separates the oil, so that they're in their region, their space. And Denox is just trying to force his little, I'm gonna say, quote, hobbies onto these children, these minors that he is having in this Discord server. and he is hurting them. He is sexually trying to talk to these minors and ask them for their feet pics. Yes, I am not joking. And he has done this for as long as I can remember. And he should not be doing this. I want to give every single one of you a heads up on these type of people, Denox especially, because people will mix reality and fiction and it'll go way above proportion. And I will say this, fiction needs to stay fiction. It is not real. It should not travel to the real world. It should not travel into reality. And it irks me and it hurts me that people will go as far as to bring these sexual fantasies they have for online, for literal, like, characters from anime or cartoons and stuff like that, and cross it into the real world. Which is not okay, and again, it should not be tolerated. So, like, I just want to give everyone a heads up and just to be aware that this needs to stop. What Denox is doing needs to stop. It should not be tolerated. And, you know, like, if he fucking sees this, so what? I'm proving my point. He's just too delusional and too over the line bonkers to know what's right and wrong. And also, on top of that, just a little, like, sidetracking here. Like, and on top of that, and I'm saying if, or this motherfucker has autism, let's keep in mind that you are not going to pull the, oh, I have autism card. Your mental health, or more or less your mental disorder, does not contribute to your behavior. You know what is right and wrong. And I will say it again. Denox, you're not going to play the autism victim card. You're almost a 40-year-old man who should be knowing right from wrong. But you have the brain capacity of a 10-year-old sometimes. And on top of that, you know that you are hurting these kids online and in real life. You are hurting them. You are talking sexually to these girls, and you think you're gonna get no repercussion from this. But in this video, I have basically warned everybody, and hopefully it helps. It helps anyone that has to deal with people like that, or more or less, like, I will say, just distance yourself from these people. Just distance yourself from these people. Because it is not good for you or your mental health to be sticking around with someone who is going to bring in online fetishes and bringing them into reality, the real world. Because that should not happen. It does not make any sense that we have people like this. So I'm only gonna say this once again. Reality should be staying in the reality box, and fiction should be staying in the fiction box. Those two should not mix. Also, on top of that, just a little thing before I end the video. There's also a difference between full-on harassment and just telling people and being aware or having awareness of what a certain someone is doing. Harassment is quote, me trying to belittle you and, give you any name calling and slurs under the bus. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that in my video, did I? Because you decided to poke a random clip that didn't even have any harassment in it, or one of your white knights did, and decided to community guidelines warn me of it, and decided that yeah, it and the YouTube bot is also dumb because it says, oh yeah, it does not like comply with our community guidelines, or it and like we don't approve of this like type, even though I never said any harassment whatsoever to you. And here's the other side. Awareness is letting other people know what is going on and how sick of an individual you are. So give that little hint, Denox. Give that just a tiny little hint. So, little hint, because you shouldn't be false reporting something that you can't see. Or, yeah, you know what? Or more like you can't read. Because basically, you're illiterate. Like, you got the glasses on, you just don't have the brain power for it. So, well, that's it. I know I'm sorry I made it long, but you know, I had to say this cuz yeah, this needs to be known and people need to be aware. So, I hope this video helps.